Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. This is my monthly video on the best expansions coming to retail. Thank you so much for joining me. I released my best new games coming to retail video a few days ago, and a bunch of people in the comments asked if I was going to be at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia in early December, and the answer is yes, I will be there. I will be there. My new game, I'm kind of a Big Dill, is debuting there at PAX Unplugged, and so I'll actually be in a booth every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's the Left Justified Studio and Prolific Games booth. The number is 3663. So if you want to come by, I'll be signing copies, I'll be talking to people, I'll be demoing the game, I'll be hanging out, all that sort of stuff. So I'd love to see you in Philadelphia if you plan to go to PAX Unplugged. We got a bunch of great expansions coming to retail this month. Let's get into it. Ares Games, in association with Galacta Games, is releasing Waste Knights 2nd Edition Beyond the Horizon expansion. So this is this expansion specifically for Waste Knights 2nd Edition, not the 1st edition, so just so you know that. Plays 1 to 4 players in 90 to 180 minutes, and it is a medium plus weight game. Waste Knights is a game that was sort of like a Mad Maxy wasteland feel, you know, an adventure, exploration type of game. And one of the interesting things about Waste Knights is there were different scenarios, and some of them were cooperative, and some of them were competitive, and stuff like that. You got to go around searching and exploring and gaining items and all that sort of stuff. So this expansion includes a new map that allows you to visit Tasmania, Solomon Islands, or New Zealand altered by the apocalypse. The base game set in Australia, so this is expanding to some surrounding regions. There's also some new knights armed with unique abilities. You can expand your base game using tens of new cards, tokens, and adventures to experience a setting of enormous proportions however you like, solo, cooperatively, or competitively. So it maintains that, like, different ways to play the game and stuff like that. So if you like wasteland stuff, Mad Maxy feel, apocalypse, you know, then check out Waste Knight 2nd Edition. And now you got more stuff with Beyond the Horizon. Asmodee, in association with Rebel Studio, is releasing Meadow Adventure Book. This plays 1 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Meadow is a great sort of unique worker placement, nature-based game where you were sort of slotting these things into little notches and activating cards by going to these notches. Well, in this adventure book expansion, it's going to change the base game by adding some scenarios and a bit of a campaign. There's now, instead of just one of the boards in the base game, it replaces that board with this sort of flip book that has 6 different boards and puzzles and stuff like that. And you can play each one individually, but you can also play them back to back to back in a sort of campaign mode. There's 2 ways to play it. And so, yeah, I mean, each of those boards is going to offer different puzzles and problems and strategies and all that sort of stuff. So, if you like nature-based games, Meadow is definitely very gorgeous. The artwork in it is very gorgeous. Oh, I also want to note that this is an expansion for Meadow, but Meadow already had an expansion, and this expansion is not compatible with that second expansion. It's just compatible with the base game. So if you're a fan of Meadow and you want to add some campaigns or some different boards and stuff like that, then check out Adventure Book. Asmodee, in association with Space Cowboys, is releasing Splendor, the Silk Road. Splendor is obviously a very well-known game that's been around for a long time and kind of needs no introduction. It's a nice little engine-building game where you're getting these cards and jewels and then using those to get better and better cards throughout the game. The Silk Road expansion offers 2 new things in the game. There are City tiles, you replace the noble tiles with city tiles where players must meet specific requirements to gain valuable prestige and win the game. And it also adds trading post tiles. Open new trading posts along the Silk Road, giving you powerful bonuses that can turn the tide in your favor as you accumulate prestige points. This is an expansion for Splendor, the 2 to 4 player game, not Splendor Duel, the 2-player only game. Plays in about 30 minutes, and it is a lighter weight, but maybe on the high end of lighter weight. So, if you're a fan of Splendor, it's certainly a game that got me into games. It was one of the first, more strategic games that I played after I was playing Codenames and Telestrations and stuff like that. Splendor was certainly one of the early strategy games that I played, and so thank you, Splendor, for helping me get into the hobby. I don't play you much anymore. I found other games I like, but I appreciate your history in the hobby. All right, Andromeda's Edge is coming out this month, and I'll be talking more about the base game of Andromeda's Edge in the new editions coming to retail video that I will put out in a few days, because Andromeda's Edge is a bit of a re-implementation of Dwellings of Eldervale, and so I'll get all into that. But it's a big space exploration. There's combat, there's worker placement, there's a bunch of cool different stuff. There's bad guys you can fight, there's moving up tracks, there's a lot going on in Andromeda's Edge, but it's a great game that I had a chance to play before. Well, they're releasing a few different expansions for it at the same time that the base game is coming out. So we have Andromeda's Edge Escalation expansion, plays 1 to 5 players in 40 to 200 minutes, and it is I don't know, you might call it a medium plus or a lower end of heavyweight game, but it's a pretty big table hog experience for sure. So this expansion provides pieces for a 5th player, which is nice. It adds 3 new factions, so everybody's going to be playing as a different faction, and you'll have a specific faction ability and that sort of stuff. There's a new raider, which is kind of like a bad guy that jumps in and you have to fight and stuff like that. There's the Shadows of the Void event deck, a new special region known as the Nether Void, relic modules, ancient moons, 4 new ship upgrade tiles, and a robust solo mode. So, again, in this Andromeda's Edge Escalation expansion is really just more stuff for the base game. You got new factions, new bad guys, new tiles, all this sort of stuff. So if you want more, if you want to have the full experience of Andromeda's Edge, then this Escalation expansion might be for you. They're also releasing Cardboard Alchemy, in association with Asmodee, is releasing Andromeda's Edge Exotic Matter. This is a promo kit, plays 2 to 4 players, 40 to 200 minutes, and it is, medium plus weight game. This includes sort of everything that was the promo stuff for the original Game Found campaign was bundled into this retail box. So, if you didn't back the campaign or stuff, you can still get some of that cool content that was created for the campaign here with this Exotic Matter box. There's 3 new factions in the game with this one. There's also new raiders in the game. There's you can build new modules in the flexible metamorphosis, double damaged obliterated, and risky explosive varieties. So just different ways to play the game, new stuff to explore, all that sort of stuff. And then lastly, we have Cardboard Alchemy in association with Asmodee is releasing Andromeda's Edge Supernova. So this is essentially just deluxifying your game of Andromeda's Edge. This is not really adding new factions or play styles or anything like that. This is adding, high quality miniatures. It's adding acrylic resources, metal coins, custom game trays. So if you just want to bling out your copy of Andromeda's Edge and you didn't back the Game Found campaign, you still have a way to sort of deluxify the experience for yourself with this Supernova component upgrade box. So yeah, you don't have to feel left out. If you buy the retail edition, you can still make the retail edition feel super fancy by getting this box here. Darrington Press is releasing Queen by Midnight Quarter Past. This plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a standalone expansion, meaning that it can be combined with the base game of Queen by Midnight, but it can also be played alone. You don't need the base game. You can just get this expansion box and play it just like this. So if you don't know Queen by Midnight, gorgeous artwork, really great production value, deck building game where you're playing as these princesses who are the queen has died and you are trying to become the queen by midnight. So it's sort of a battle royale between all these princesses trying to become the queen. And, there's a bunch of eras and deck building and all. It's kind of a classic deck builder. You're buying cards, making your deck stronger, fighting everybody else sort of thing. The base game was 3 to 6 players. And so one of the selling points of this Quarter Past is that it allows for a 2-player game. It's a 2 to 4 player game. And there are 4 new princesses in the game. All the princesses have a bit of an asymmetric ability and play style and that sort of stuff. And so this is also kind of meant to be a easier onboarding point for the game Queen by Midnight. Sort of a quicker jumping in point, which might be nice here. So yeah, if you like Queen by Midnight, I mean, it really did have some of the most gorgeous artwork. So again, this has 4 new dynamic princesses. You have new cards that you can play to generate clout. You get more powerful cards from the Bazaar deck. And you can eliminate other princesses through brute force or by having the most clout and health when the clock strikes midnight. So if you like deck building games, if you like beautiful artwork, Queen by Midnight definitely is both of those things. Flat River Games, in association with Rebellion Unplugged, is releasing Joyride High Seas. This is an expansion for either Joyride Survival of the Fastest or Joyride Duel Next Gen. I talked about Joyride Survival of the Fastest in my Best Games Coming to Retail. It is sort of a racing game, but you are battling each other while you're racing. You're moving around, going through these checkpoints and trying to screw over other people. You can sort of upgrade your vehicles with different items and weapons and that sort of stuff. So this expansion, High Seas, kind of, adds more to the game. You can be a menace on the track with the pirate van, stealing items from other racers, then fleeing the scene at speed. You could use the harpoon to reposition other cars at a distance, or drop the anchor for a high-stakes emergency break. Place boost traps around the track to give racers a surge of speed, whether they like it or not. So if you are a fan of racing games, Joyride Survival of the Fastest, I saw a number of people playing it at BGG-Con recently, and a lot of people really liked it. I heard from a lot of people they had a great time. I haven't had a chance to play it myself, but this Joyride High Seas adds some more fun elements to the game. So check it out. Pandasaurus Games is releasing Unrest Uprising expansion. Unrest is a game that plays 2 players only. It is a sort of smaller box card game, but with a big strategy to it. So this expansion also, maintains the 2-player game, plays in 60 to 120 minutes, and it is a, medium weight game. In the game, thematically, it's Unrest. There's an insurrection, an uprising, and you are either playing as the rebellion or the Empire. And so this, is the same thing. You are playing as the Empire or the Rebellion, trying to sort of accomplish your goals. It's a little bit asymmetric in terms of the win conditions and stuff, how you win. Each of the factions, each of the sides is going to win in a different way. This is the first expansion for Unrest. Plays over 3 to 5 games and introduces new gameplay twists for the Rebellion and the Empire. Essentially, gameplay is the same as the base game, but with a few exceptions. Each player will have enhancement cards to aid them during the game, and additionally, after the first game, each subsequent one in the 3 to 5 campaign will include a unique scenario that changes elements of the game. And the reason it's a 3 to 5 game campaign is that it's first to 3 wins. So if you crush your opponent 3 in a row, boom, you don't even need to play 4 and 5, but you can if you want to. So adds a campaign element to the game, and each scenario sort of twists the rules a little bit, adds new challenges and new stuff to explore. Rio Grande Games is releasing Power Grid Bremen Manhattan expansion. This plays 2 to 6 players in 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is an expansion for the game Power Grid, which at this point is sort of a classic Euro game. Power Grid came out over 20 years ago, I believe, and so it's been around a long time, where you were sort of building up your power plants, and there was some route building and different stuff. Well, this adds a pair of expansion maps for Power Grid, and each of the maps is going to have their own challenges and puzzles you need to figure out, and sort of ways to play the game. The Bremen map, nuclear power plants are not used to supply electricity in Bremen, so you are fighting more for scarce resources on this map. Bremen does not have classic connecting costs between cities, but instead flat district costs. So again, sort of a new way to play Power Grid a little bit there. And then on the Manhattan board, the Manhattan map, there's a giant demand for electric power, but Manhattan does not have much space for the necessary networks. So the electric power companies fight nonstop for the cheapest building costs all over Manhattan. So this map only offers a single huge area, and the game only runs in step 1 until the end of the game. So again, just new ways to play Power Grid, new maps to explore here. Roxley Games is releasing an expansion to the game Radlands called Cult of Chrome. This plays 2 players only in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is on the edge of light to medium weight game. I'm going to call it a lighter medium weight game. Radlands is a really great 2-player only card battle game where you are sort of going head to head against another player, and you each have camps, and you are trying to destroy their camps before they can destroy your camps. It's got really cool artwork. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's colorful. It's this post-apocalyptic Mad Max theme, but just I really love the artwork in it. It's some of my favorite of any game out there. This expansion adds 32 new camps that bring devastating combos, clutch play, endless replayability. The camps all sort of have an asymmetric ability on them, so that was one of the interesting things about Radlands, is sort of using camps and their abilities to your advantage and comboing stuff together in a cool way, and you're sort of putting cards in lanes and battling down these lanes. This expansion, the Cult of Chrome expansion, also features 10 rebalanced replacement camps to replace some of the original stuff in your original game of Radlands, and so they rebalanced some of those camps. So, if you want to explore new ways and new camps and stuff like that, you can do that now with this Cult of Chrome expansion. It's a great 2-player game, and it's a small box 2-player game, which is really nice as well. Steve Jackson Games is releasing a number of expansions to Car Wars 6th edition. So Car Wars is a racing battle game where you are building up a car with weapons and armor and cool items and stuff like that. So you're sort of building a custom car and then going into an arena and racing and battling and fighting each other and that sort of stuff. And the 6th edition came out a few years ago. You know, obviously it's a popular game because there have been 6 editions of it. And you don't get to 6 editions if people aren't asking for it. So the first expansion I'll talk about is Albert's Advances. This is a solo player expansion, meaning it just works, it's items for a single player, plays in 120 minutes, and it is medium weight. This adds 45 cards originally introduced in Uncle Al's upgrade pack. So just a bunch of new items and weapons and upgrades and armor and all that sort of stuff for the game. They're also releasing Gonzo gear. This is another solo expansion. It contains 40 all-new cards to add to your favorite auto-dueling game. So you can add a wrecking ball, you can get up close with a katana, you can use advanced targeting computer to get a read on other drivers, all that sort of stuff. So this one also plays in about 2 hours. And then lastly, Car Wars 6th Edition Offensive Ordnance. This is another solo player expansion that just adds a bunch of content to Car Wars. It features all new cards, features all the cards from Miniature Set 2, as well as the hazard cards from Road Tiles. So again, just a bunch of content to add into Car Wars, a lot of ways to customize your cars. Boy, it's hard to say cars and cards a bunch of times in a row and not get them mixed up. So, you know, it's a bunch of cards for your cars. Your cars have cards that you can go on them, right? With the cars, the car cards. Okay, I'm going to stop that bit now. And moving on. Wonderbow Games is releasing an expansion to their game Kelp. This is Brilliant Behaviors. Kelp just came out here in November, and it is a great 2-player asymmetric game, completely asymmetric, where one player is playing as an octopus that is trying to sort of hide from the shark, and the other player is playing as a shark that is trying to find and eat the octopus. So this maintains the same, sort of stuff. It's a 2-player game, plays in 45 to 60 minutes, and it is medium weight. This adds 6 mini expansions to the game of Kelp, and you can play all of them, you can play one of them, you can play a few of them. You can sort of combine and mix and match these mini expansions together into your base game. The 6 mini expansions are, there's a jellyfish. You can ride a jellyfish and let it steal energy from the shark. There is the zones. You can, it's your turn as the shark to manipulate the board. You can obstruct the plans of the octopus, but raise the stakes for yourself in return. There is the coconut. You can hide the octopus under a coconut and make it harder to attack. Hey, that's silly and fun. There's the dens mini expansion. Visit your dens to collect powered up growth tiles for the shark. There's the urchins. Place spiky urchins on the board to create some obstacles and stuff. And there's the reflexes. Upgrade your shark with powerful dice from a new growth tile. So, all these are pretty mini stuff, but, add some different variety to the game of Kelp. So if you like Kelp, then check that out. Small box expansion, Brilliant Behaviors. Weird Games is releasing a couple of expansions to the game Vagrantsong. Vagrantsong, really interesting cooperative campaign game. Plays 2 to 4 players in, 90 to 120 minutes. And, each of those scenarios is like 90 minutes. And it's, you are playing as these people on a train, and the train has a lot of ghosts on it, but they're called haints. They're like sort of faint images of former people, and you are trying to save them but battle bosses and stuff at the same time. You know, it's not like you're trying to kill them, you're trying to save them. And so it was it's a cool, unique game, but mostly like a campaign boss battler game. And these are a couple of expansions to it. We have the expansion Encore, plays 2 to 4 players in 45 to 120 minutes, medium weight game. It adds a 4th door to open that leads to a new chapter with 5 new scenarios. There's 6 save your soul scenarios to bring your friends back from having one foot in the grave. There's a short trip mode, which gives players the opportunity to explore the Silver Ferryman in chapter-sized chunks, which is nice. There's some new cards and stuff like that for the game. There's some special dice that earn players that players can earn and find to help turn their bad luck around. There's just a bunch of different sort of new scenarios, new chapters, new stuff to explore, new cards to explore. So if you're looking for like a storytelling, campaign, cooperative game, Vagrantsong is a great option, and the Encore expansion adds more to it. We also have a second expansion for Vagrantsong called Off the Rails. This also plays 2 to 4 players, 45 to 120 minutes, and it is medium weight. This adds a new game mode that increases the difficulty and replayability of over 40 scenarios in the game. There's new objectives tailored for each vagrant called Devious Deeds that provide more character customization as rewards. Smoky Bones, special dice that players earn and help turn their bad luck around, and a few spooky surprises along the way. So again, great cooperative campaign storytelling game, Vagrantsong, with a couple of expansions. So those are all the expansions I have coming to retail here in the month of November 2024. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you get to play some games with friends or family or wherever you may be. Come check me out at PAX Unplugged. I'd love to say hello to you there. I'd love to, meet people and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.